Won't you let my darling know that?
How you guys doing out there this morning or this afternoon or this evening, whenever you're watching this? Today, July 23rd, it's Saturday. And I'm going to do a sun transit video. Actually, it's more of a Leo and 5th house. Sun, Mars, and Mercury are all in the sign of Leo right now. And the sun rules the sign of Leo, so it's kind of a big deal. If there was going to be a president of the zodiac, it'd be Leo. Sun is at 0 degrees Leo. Alright, so real quick, let's listen to what the sun does in your chart.
Physically, the sun rules basic energy of the body, and the body is an energy system. Consequently, the transiting sun can have a great effect on feelings of health and vigor. Psychologically, the sun rules the energy of the psyche, what Jung called the libido, or the basic drive to be. When the transiting sun afflicts the natal chart, you can expect crisis in which you will come to conflict with someone else. You may be challenged to assert yourself and stand up for your rights. The area of your natal chart affected by the transient sun points out the area of your life in which you must express yourself at the time. If you allow yourself to be unnecessarily defeated during a solar transit, the effect may be psychologically quite negative. In extreme cases, afflictions from the transiting sun can indicate health problems.
Okay, so see, that's what the sun does in your chart. See how cool that is? Just knowing that can help you be more aware. Okay, so now we're going to listen to Mars, because Mars is also in Leo. Mars is also in Leo, so now we're going to listen to Mars.
The significance of Mars. Mars traditionally has been considered a malefic planet in astrology that is more likely to produce evil than good. This is not true, although it is the case with any planet if the energies of Mars are allowed to operate to excess. Its effects can be quite difficult. But usually there is nothing to fear from its transits. And in fact, its energies are a vital part of life. Mars is an energy planet. Specifically, it rules the energy that an individual uses to maintain himself in the face of pressures from his environment. This Mars is also connected with work in physical energy, and often its transits signify a day when you feel very energetic and vigorous. In fact, one way to ensure that a Mars transit will not cause disputes or arguments with others, which is a sign of malfunctioning Mars energy, this is to have plenty of hard work to do. Its negative side of Mars most often manifests itself when there is no other outlet for its energies. You will try to establish your individuality towards others through the issues related to that planet. This can result in conflicts with others if the energy gets too strong or encounter serious resistance from others. And of course, there is nothing wrong with a good fight, if it serves some purpose. Fighting is one way to learn about your own strength in an interpersonal sense. As Mars transits see chaos, the affairs of that house become energized, just as with the transited planets. You become most active or seek to assert yourself through the affairs of the house occupied by transients Mars. Here again, you are most likely to have conflicts with others in these areas in your life. The only real danger with Mars is that its energies, when sublimated to the physical level, can signify accidents, specifically from burns or fire, and illnesses involving fever and infection. This is often the result of frustrated ego energies, although you may have to dig around in your psyche to realize this. You must learn to express your resentments and anger. They are a legitimate part of your being.
Mars does in your chart. So you see, they don't want you to, you know what I used to say Mars was? I used to say Mars was like the methamphetamine of your chart. You know, it's like where your energy is. It's your motivation. It's your drive or whatever. It might not be your motivation. That might be more of a desire type thing. I'm not sure. But from Venus. But Mars, I don't know why they would not want you to have as much energy as possible to be able to handle everything they throw on you. Like, I don't know about these people, but so anyways, moving on, not to make this political, but sure, why not? So now we're going to listen to what Mercury does. Mercury is about communication. So there we listened about Mars, now let's listen to Mercury.
The significance of Mercury. Mercury signifies shifts of mental focus and attention as it transits the houses and planets. Also, it indicates the kind of communications you will have with other people throughout the year. Sometimes it is an indicator of travel, usually short trips that do not seriously alter your everyday routine. Mercury is the everyday routine. It signifies the nature of your casual interchange with the world around you. It means simply something we are so used to that we do not see its effects. Nevertheless, being conscious of the Mercury function in your life can be enormously valuable. Thus, it is extremely important to study your Mercury transits and see how they operate for you. Even though their effects are subtle, the knowledge that you gain from them can be extremely useful. Mercury relates to communications received as well as given. The pace of your interchange with others increases when Mercury is active in your horoscope, and it can sometimes be a very busy and exciting time. A Mercury transit represents a time when you should just sit and think sometimes. Mercury rules the rational mind, and in many of the transits your mind is unusually clear. It may be a good idea to get away from it all and be alone with your thoughts, even though Mercury usually likes to be around others.
Okay, so that's what Mercury is, all about communication. So now we know that they're all in the same sign of Leo, and they are going to be conjunct because the Sun is at 0 degrees, then Mercury is at 7 degrees, and Mars is at 12 degrees. So it's going to keep on going around whichever way it goes, and it's going to eventually it's going to be conjunct, so Sun will be conjunct Mercury. This is Sun conjunct Mercury energy. This is what you can be aware of. Listen closely.
Sun conjunct Mercury. This transit emphasizes the areas of your life ruled by Mercury. There are several of these areas in which you emphasize most depends upon your personal nature. First of all, you are likely to have many more conversations with people. Certainly this is an opportunity to get your point of view across to others, and you may become more inclined to talk than to listen, because, like all conjunctions, this one makes you take initiative and start things. You may be much more involved in sending or receiving letters. This is also a good time to take care of routine paperwork, because your mind will be clearer than usual, and you should have little difficulty concentrating. This is an excellent day for starting a new business venture. Mercury rules commerce, the favors the rapid interchange of ideas and plans that is necessary in business activity. Here again you will be helped by the sharpness of mind conferred by this transit. You may also travel today, for an activated Mercury creates a restless tension within you that makes you want to move around. Try to go out and experience as much of the world as possible. You will be able to take in quite a bit.
Okay, so that's a Sun-Mercury conjunction. Now, listen to the Mars-Sun conjunction.
Mars conjunct Sun. This transit has tremendous potentials and definite risks. You will have to be careful in everything you do, because the high energy level of this transit can have explosive consequences. Your ego energies are high, which means you can stand up for yourself against almost anyone today. You have great confidence and will not easily allow someone to take advantage of you. Unfortunately, this may also mean that you will get into fights and arguments. Try to remember that other people have egos too. You don't have to defeat others in order to maintain yourself. You should be especially careful in your dealings with supervisors. They will not expect you to be as assertive towards them as you are likely to be today. However, if you use these energies intelligently, you should be able to accomplish far more worthwhile work than on other days.
Okay, so that's Mars and Sun. Now listen to the Mercury and Mars.
Mercury is conjunct Mars. The influence of this transit must be handled with care, but it can prove quite useful if you exercise some restraint. On the plus side, it confers a tremendous intellectual and mental energy. You can work with your mind much longer than usual and thereby accomplish quite a bit. At the same time, you will feel intellectually competitive and fond of debating with others. You will present your position clearly and skillfully, defend it ably, and find quite a bit of satisfaction in doing so. The important point is to determine where your real concerns are, intellectually speaking. What ideas do you really have to defend in order to maintain your integrity? When you have worked out the answers to this question, you should have no trouble curving the next.
See how busy it is? It is so busy if you just, and this is right now. This is what you can be observing right now in your energy, because this is today. And if you're seeing this later than today, July 23rd, 2022, it's Saturday, see what, and just see if what I'm saying is accurate. And you'll see what I'm saying is accurate. That's that. Now, all these are in Leo. So because they don't lay it out, I'm not going to lay it out for you, Sun in Leo, Mars in Leo. Instead, we're going to say Mars in the 5th house, because it's pretty much the same exact thing. You can just translate it. You can kind of read between the lines, and you can see, and that's how I do it. So anyways, here is Sun in the 5th house, or you could say Sun in Leo.
According to tradition, the Sun is happiest in the 5th house. With the Sun here, you feel most free to express yourself and to be yourself. Your primary drive is to do what you want as much as possible, to set your own priorities. You are not especially interested in dominating others, although you may be capable of it at this time, but you will vigorously oppose anyone who tries to prevent you from doing what you want to do. The 5th house is often described as the house of amusement and recreation. Therefore, you have a strong drive to get out and have a good time, and there is no reason why you shouldn't, as long as you make some effort to meet your daily obligations and restrictions. But the free-spirited drive of the 5th house Sun may not want to do this, which can be a problem. At any rate, you will feel lighter than usual throughout this period. But don't get so wrapped up in yourself and your enjoyments that you forget to examine yourself. This is a time to be yourself, but it is also a time to become conscious of who you are. It is one thing to be yourself, it is another to know yourself. You can use this time for both.
Okay, so that's Sun in Leo, Sun in the 5th house. These translations are by Robert Hand. They come in really handy, and you agree with his translations or his interpretations. I don't. This is Mars in the 5th house.
Mars in the 5th house. Mars and Leo. Above all else, this is a time when you will demand to be yourself and to express to others what and who you are. You are filled with energies that want to cry to the world, I am. You will not be especially inclined to self-denial, discipline, postponing self-gratification, or taking a backseat to another. However, this is not a conflict-laden transit unless your self-assertive energies are totally denied by circumstances or you give them no expression. It is much more likely that these energies will be expressed in a playful, inseparative way, for this is the house of amusement as well as self-expression. In fact, any athletic activity, if you are so inclined, is an excellent outlet for this transit. You are more competitive than usual, so you might as well make good use of the spirit, although you could use it in some other area in your life also. Your aggressiveness is relatively benign at this time because the 5th house is not a house of cutthroat ego drives. Perhaps the only real flaw in this transit is that you lack discipline in doing things that you really don't want to do. You find it hard to get down to a task that is unappealing. Perhaps you should let your energies roam wherever they choose now and wait until Mars enters the next house before trying to work with any real discipline.
Alright, so that's Mars in the 5th house. Now this is Mercury in the 5th house.
Mercury in the 5th house. Or Mercury and Leo. This is a good time for expressing your thoughts to yourself and for communicating them to others. In this respect, it is rather like the transit of Mercury through the 1st house. You can make clear to people your stand on any matter and explain very effectively any issue that is on your mind. You will also be inclined to use your mind for amusement, that is for reading, writing, and playing games that require mental agility. These activities will be more attractive than usual during this time. Often the ideas that come into your head now will have no special function except that they are fun to play with. Just be careful not to transfer this playful spirit to your communications with others to the extent that you play with people for your own amusement. Astrologers often fail to recognize that Mercury is the planet of pranks. This house you are more inclined to release your energy outward than to allow energy input to come from others. Thus you may be rather insensitive to people's needs if you are not careful. This is particularly important to remember if you feel like playing a joke on someone. Also, in conversations with others, you may be a very poor listener at this time.
Okay, so now we've gone through all the signs in the 5th house with Leo. Okay, so we've gone over that. So all this is happening right now. We've got Mercury, or will be happening within the next week. And so it's a good time to journal if you're interested in doing astrology or contributing to astrology, to write down your own experiences. It also helps humanity. That's why I promote astrology a lot too, is because if you're conscientious of the energies and you're not judging it, you're looking at it objectively, or that's what it is, then you can, have a handle on it instead of it having a handle on you. So I hope you enjoyed this video. This is a transit video, real quick, generic one, but I did it with Robert Hand's planets and transits, and of course the apps that I use. And without those, this would not be possible, along with all the astrologers that inspired this in the first place. So with that, Round Psychic is signing off. Jessica Bailey.
Won't you let my darling know that